Hi guys, and welcome to the Postal Code Unknown video podcast for Sunday, June 25th of 2017. Got a bit of a fun episode for you guys today. It's more than one item about one of my favorite places, and I've talked about this in the past and definitely want to sort of say this is not the end of this discussion. I definitely have a lot more to say about this, but I wanted to talk about Tokyo Disney and Tokyo Disney Sea. If you're a big Disney fan, there's a lot of good info here. It's my favorite set of parks in the entire world for all of the Disney parks for a number of reasons. One, there's a lot of unique areas and unique rides and some really spectacular stuff. I've actually been there a few times as I've sort of passed through and actually made some really good friends that I sort of went with as well. So without further ado, first off, this is the shirt that I got there. It sort of, it's a little silly, but I quite like it. It's a very, very happy looking Mickey with sunglasses on, and sort of like if I'm feeling a little bit silly, it's a fun shirt to wear when I'm going around. So with that said, the first time I ever went to this particular park was when I went to, oh boy, no, it's not the first time. I actually went there when I was an exchange student, when I was between junior high and high school. One of the sort of extra days that we did was to go to Tokyo Disneyland, and this was before the second park was open. And I remember at that point my hair was much bigger when I was a kid, and all these people kept coming up and wanting to take pictures with me. It was really kind of weird. But with that said, sort of like really fond memories of this park. So going back, when I went to Japan again for my 30th birthday, it was something that I'd been working towards for a long time. And that trip on my 30th, if you've read my initial post, New Beginnings, or listened to the first episode of this podcast, you'll know that this trip had a lot of major significance for me for a lot of reasons. And the last stop really on this trip before coming home was to go to Tokyo Disneyland again for my birthday. So with that said, I got this little award thing. I'll put this on. It says happiest birthday and my name in Japanese, so Mata-san, and a little cat kind of thing. It was kind of cool. I'd walk around with this thing, and people would just say happy birthday to me, and it was a fun experience, especially sort of at the time, because I was there on my own, and I didn't really know anybody. It was a way to sort of feel included, and that was really fun. Nothing more than that, just a way for people to sort of recognize, hey, it was cool, and it made me feel good, and I've been there a few times since then. Since then, they've had a couple of different events or shows and things like that they'll do at a lot of the Disney parks. One of the times I get Mickey ears occasionally. Here's my Mickey ears from that one. And they had this event where it was like these crystals where you could walk around the sort of park and use this wand to activate these crystal things. Not exactly sure what was going on there. Language barriers still, I need to study my Japanese to get a little bit better, but it is kind of a really cool thing that they were doing at the time. So now I'm all super decked out in Disney attire. I sort of feel more at home. Sometimes it's a fun thing for me to do. I love visiting these parks. It reminds me of being a kid. There was also sort of one of the times that I went was during Easter. So a friend of mine and I sort of got two different levels and basically went and searched around the park. You look to find these Easter eggs and put stickers that match sort of the answers to these riddles. It was definitely possible not knowing Japanese, but it was difficult. So Google Translate was definitely our friend, especially with the sort of function where it's able to read text and help with that. So I'm able to read katakana and hiragana, which are two basic character sets in Japanese, but my kanji knowledge is almost non-existent. So this was really fun. I remember one of the most difficult eggs to find was they actually hid an egg inside of a window display on a clock or something like that. It was crazy. It was so weird, but finding that tiny little thing was just sort of one of the highlights of that particular experience. And then last but not least, they have a restaurant at Tokyo Disney Sea. So this is for their 15th anniversary. Restaurant's name is Magellan's. And it's this really cool area in Tokyo Disney Sea near a volcano that periodically erupts. that's based on sort of Magellan and Galileo and a lot of these Renaissance era scientific thinkers. So it's a really cool thing. You can do this sort of Leonardo's challenge that goes around, and you have to solve different puzzles to sort of answer riddles and that kind of stuff, which is really kind of neat. But the restaurant itself is special. It's one of Disney's sort of like fancier things that they do. But with that said, there's a room that in the 3 times that I went to this park, I tried the first time, couldn't get in, tried the second time, couldn't get in, and tried the third time, and I actually was able to get in with a friend of mine that I had met along the way, who happened to also be a huge fan of Disney as well. So the restaurant, if you go to it, this is the Magellan's restaurant at Tokyo Disney Sea. If you make a reservation, because you generally do need to make a reservation for the restaurant in general, so you get there basically almost first thing when the park opens. And if you ask them for the secret room, so Himitsu no Heya, Himitsu no Heya, that's basically there's a part of the restaurant, and the restaurant itself is really cool. They've got this giant globe in there, and it's actually really nice to sort of eat in general. But the secret room's fun because there's a bookshelf, and you go push a button on the side, and it opens this secret door, and you're sitting in this wine cellar, and it was really special in the kind of way that sort of Disney really does some awesome stuff. So I'll show you guys this. I got a cool little cup to sort of commemorate that experience. So it's also sort of 15th anniversary thing there. And it's a really good memory for me. I love that park, and it's definitely not the last time that I go. So hope you enjoyed watching today's episode. If you have questions about theme parks or Disney parks, or what you should do at Tokyo Disney or Tokyo Disney Sea, feel free to leave me a message, and I'd be happy to answer that in a future episode of the podcast. Thank you again for watching, and have a wonderful day. Hi everyone, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you'd like to see more of what I've been doing outside of these videos, you can see more at theradicaldreamer.com, where I've got articles and photographs with travel advice and stories that aren't just in a video format. You can follow me on Twitter at @OneRadicalDreamer, or on Instagram at @aradicaldreamer, if that's something that you're more interested in. If you're interested in supporting me, I do have a Patreon page up as well, which you can find at patreon.com/theradicaldreamer. And that's a way for as little as $1 a month, you can help support me get better equipment and do more videos of this type and make a whole bunch more cool stuff to share with you in the future. And last but not least, if you like what you've been seeing on YouTube, please like, subscribe, and send a couple comments. I'd be happy to answer more questions in future episodes of the podcast. Hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you. Take care.